Let's talk education. It's 15 minutes of information about the policies, programs, and activities of our schools and the Ministry of Education. Join us and let's talk education.
Good day, viewers. Welcome to Let's Talk Education. I'm your host, Patricia Evans. Today on Let's Talk Education, our special guest is Mistress Estelita Rene. Mistress Estelita Rene is the St. Lucia Technical, Vocational Education and Training TVET Council Chairperson. Welcome, Mistress Rene.
Thank you, Patricia.
Mistress Rene, it is a pleasure having you on our Let's Talk Education show today. However, it is our knowledge you've recently retired as being the education officer for TVET. How do you feel?
Oh, my retirement has been great. I have, worked for a long time, and at this point, it's really refreshing to have reached the age of retirement and to actually retire. So wow. I'm enjoying.
But however, despite the fact that you're retired, we know that you're keeping extremely busy as the chairperson of the TVET Council. And so today I'll be questioning you about the TVET Council.
Sure.
What is the TVET Council, Mrs. Rene?
Well, the council is the entity, it's a body appointed to monitor, to coordinate, and to generally look into the affairs of TVET at the national level. The council falls under the Ministry of Education, Human Resource Development and Labor. So the council is basically to coordinate the affairs of TVET at the national level.
That is good. So what are the functions of the TVET Council, considering that it is the main body that actually coordinates the affairs of technical, vocational, and educational training?
The functions of the council are really enshrined in the Education Act 1999, Part 6, Section 1 to 5 to be exact. There is a very long list of functions, as you can imagine, but just to give you a synopsis of what that is, the main function is the coordination of TVET at the national level, the national coordination of TVET. Also to advise the minister on policy relating to TVET, to look into such areas as schemes for examining TVET, to look at equipment for the conduct of TVET. Also, in that act, it says that the council is responsible for obtaining grants and loans for persons wishing to pursue TVET. And so there's quite a long list, but for me, the main function is the coordination of all TVET at all levels of the national education system.
In your opinion, do you think that TVET is progressing really well thus far?
TVET has progressed really well thus far. I just think we have not blown our trumpet enough. We have done a lot of work to the point that we have been approved by CARICOM in 2013.
Yes, I remember that. Good job.
As one of the few training agencies, training authorities within the region to have attained the milestone of awarding the Caribbean Vocational Qualification. We are just one of two OECS territories. The bigger territories, of course, Jamaica, Trinidad, and Barbados. Yes. But the smaller territories, it is only us and Grenada.
And that is actually...
So that was a big accomplishment for us.
It was.
And as I said, I don't think we blew our trumpet hard enough.
And I guess right now that you are the TVET chairperson, and you will see to it that you work alongside with individuals at the Ministry of Education so that we could actually rally on, so we could actually produce more achievements with respect to TVET.
Definitely. More so, it is now a designated function for me. So I am not doing all the rest of TVET, although I always push my nose in TVET affairs. But for me, it is you know, it has to be done. It has to be done. We need to do a lot more marketing of the work that we are doing in the work of the council. Yes,
we must. Thus far, what are the challenges facing the TVET Council?
Well, like everything else, our biggest challenge is a sustainable funding system for TVET. As you will know, in some territories, like in Jamaica, you have a 3% levy on the salaries, the wage bill of employers. Jamaica has a 1%, not Jamaica, Barbados has a 1% training fund. But we do not have that. So we rely a lot on government budgetary allocations, although TVET has a vast potential to produce its own funds, but that is our major challenge.
I see.
The other thing that is challenging for us, of course, is lack of, you know, regular, constant training for our instructors. I think for it to have a very good TVET system, we need to always have our instructors at the cutting edge of what is happening in technology, and we do not have that. We do not have the leeway to be able to do that. Additionally, many of our labs, even in our, and I'm not just saying that for the school system, many of the labs that we work in are obsolete. Some of the equipment is obsolete. The technology has left us behind. And of course, even within the ministry, even operating TVET within the Ministry of Education is a challenge, because we are constrained by the budget of the Ministry of Education. And we are even constrained by the space allocations within the Ministry of Education. We have, for example, the assessment of prior learning. We have many, many persons coming in to be assessed so that their skills can be assessed, so that they can be certified. We, in the unit, we don't even have enough space to allow that to happen comfortably.
Wow.
You know, so the whole structure for TVET, and even in our assessment and audit by CARICOM, this was one of the challenges that we faced. In the first round of audit, we were granted provisional status because we did not have a sustainable structure.
A system that can actually grow with
a structure, yes, so that we have the staff, the work is being done, and so we have staff, but the staff are always on a part-time contract. So we do not have a sustainable framework, a sustainable structure in which to operate TVET.
Wow. So we are looking forward in the future that we could actually achieve that sustainable structure.
Yes, definitely.
Mrs. Rene, we're about to take a short break, and when we return, we'll be continuing our discussion with regards to the TVET Council. Viewers, you're watching Let's Talk Education. We are about to take a short break. Our special guest, Mrs. Estelita Rene, Technical Vocational Education Training, TVET, St. Lucia's Council Chairperson. We'll be right back.
Let's Talk Education. It's 15 minutes of information about the policies, programs, and activities of our schools and the Ministry of Education. Join us and let's talk education.
Welcome back, viewers, to Let's Talk Education with our special guest, Mrs. Estelita Rene, Technical Vocational Education and Training, TVET, which is the St. Lucia Council Chairperson. Mrs. Rene, we are continuing with our discussion. The TVET Council recently received funding for the implementation of a policy framework. What are the main objectives you wish to achieve with the implementation of this framework?
Well, as you will be aware, we have never had a policy.
Yes.
We have operated within the constraints of the Ministry of Education. We have, but in terms of having a policy that governs TVET at the national level, we have not had that.
And that is important.
And that is important for the whole continuation, for the whole coordination, and as I say, the sustainability of TVET. So you find we have done things without, well, we have had work plans, we have developed such, but to have a national policy that governs TVET both at industry level, at education level, and to understand the whole contribution of TVET at the national level. We have not had that.
And that policy can actually be like the skeleton that holds it all together.
Yes, because we also need to, within that policy, articulate a number of issues.
Yes.
A number of issues. The monitoring of TVET, the governance of TVET, quality assurance within TVET. We need to look at how you finance TVET in a sustainable way at the national level. We also would like to see within our policy some measure of a national qualifications framework. Because we have to understand,
quite a milestone.
No, but we have to understand that TVET is not an end in itself.
No, it isn't.
That it is a pathway.
That's right.
And so many of us have thought, okay, because I go into TVET, I can't go to university. And we need to be able to articulate that pathway so that persons can look at lifelong learning and understand how they can, you know, enter and articulate through a training system that contributes, of course, to
sustainability as well,
and national development.
And persons becoming independent in learning things that can actually help them with their own individual sustainability.
Exactly. And you have to see where your qualifications are within a national framework.
You should.
And how you can progress through that framework.
And persons don't understand that. And that is where you could realize whether you could compete at a global level as well.
That is correct.
Yes.
That is correct.
So now that we've looked at the policy in terms of the framework development, what is the vision of the TVET Council with respect to education in St. Lucia?
I like that question. with respect to education.
Especially education.
I like that question, Patricia, because the view is that TVET is not part of general education.
Wow.
We listen to TVET persons themselves saying that TVET is for those who cannot do, or TVET is for those who cannot think. And, you know, every time I hear these statements, I cringe wherever I am.
Me as well.
Because TVET is part of general education.
It is.
And the whole thrust or the whole goal of any education system is for productive citizens.
True.
And this is what TVET is all about. So we share in that goal. And of course, TVET intends through its programs to support that vision. One of the goals of education being to produce productive citizens. And one of the major visions, goals of TVET is to look at the production of highly motivated and productive citizens. And for us, this is where we contribute. This is where our strength is. So that the whole, if persons are well educated, we have a better society.
True.
If we have a better society, we become more productive, more competitive, and therefore there is economic growth.
And not only that, a country that has high productive citizens starts to feed itself.
Yes.
And when you could feed yourself, just one factor that we could help to actually decrease is our import bill.
Exactly.
And persons don't understand, with production, hands that are skills, hands that are labor qualified, that country can start sustaining itself in the long run.
But one of the things, as you rightly pointed out in education, is that if we can show persons, if we can continue to produce persons who can move through the different levels of our education system,
yes,
you become highly motivated.
Yes, you do.
Because once you can say, okay, I am a worker, I have never gone to formal schooling, but here is this TVET system that can certify my skills.
And recognize your skills.
And recognize my skills and actually give me certification. And here we have many carpenters in our system that have never gone to school, but they learned through the apprenticeship program. But we can
qualify them.
We can give them that Caribbean Vocational Qualification.
And to be recognized regionally.
And the Caribbean Vocational Qualification is recognized locally and through CARICOM as the means for moving within the CSME. So We are right on track.
Yes, we are, and we are progressing nicely.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Let's Talk Education. I have been your host, Patricia Evans. Our special guest today was Mrs. Estelita Rene, the St. Lucia Technical Vocational Education and Training TVET Council Chairperson. Thank you for viewing. See you at our next Let's Talk Education.